Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about something a little different. It's going to be about the NFL today. So, today we're talking about the NFL Week 18 and all the playoffs and stuff. So, this was very interesting. I found a bunch of things that happened, and it's crazy what happened. So, be sure to watch and see what let's find out. So, I'm gonna begin here with the Packers and Bears game. The Packers did win 17-9 over the Bears, which found them a playoff berth for 7th seed. So, the Packers have had a rough season. I mean, Jordan Love, his first season starting, and he needed to warm up. He did, and he warmed up to the team fast. And they went from being 2-5 to going to 9-8, making 7th seed, going into playoffs. And they are going to be taking on the Cowboys, who are 12-5 at number 2 seed. Now, we're going to talk about the Cowboys and look at them. So, the Cowboys just beat the Commanders. The Commanders were 6-11 to finish the season. And the score was 38-10 in the end. And the Cowboys won. The Cowboys have had such a good season. It's really insane of how they've performed. So, anyways, moving on, I really admired this game that happened last night. Sunday Night Football, the Bills and Dolphins. Such a good game. Bills, I was rooting for them that game. They won. They moved the Dolphins from 11, so the Dolphins are now 11-6, and the Bills are as well. Now the Bills are 2nd seed. They moved the Dolphins from 2nd seed to 6th seed, which the Bills now play the Steelers for the wild card round. Now, this Dolphins next brings me right into the Chiefs versus Dolphins game. The Chiefs are 11-6, my favorite team. We are 3rd seed in the playoffs, and we have been performing really bad. Like, we are so bad this season. I mean, we were lucky enough to make the playoffs because of how bad we've been playing this season. We're 11-6. Yeah, you might think that's good. But from what we had last season, we were 15-2 last season, and we moved down to 11-6. Our receivers, we need a better receiving core. And if I'm going to be honest, I do not think that the Chiefs are going to win this game against the Dolphins. We did beat them in Week 8. I will admire that. I mean, that was a good game. I respect the Dolphins. I respect all the teams in the NFL, and it's just, there are teams that I just get mad at, and one of those teams is the Bengals, and I'm going to bring my point to the Bengals next. The Bengals, I actually don't know what happened, if they beat or lost. I'm pretty sure they lost to, no, they beat the Browns, I'm pretty sure. And the Browns are still, they're 5th seed. But the Bengals are the only team in the AFC North that didn't make the playoffs at a 9-8 record. Speaking of 9-8 records, let's look at the AFC South. All the teams going into Week 18 were 9-7, except for the Titans living in their own fantasy world at 5-11. And the Colts lost to the Texans 23-19, which I find really crazy because both those teams had rookie quarterbacks, except Anthony Richardson was injured, so they couldn't play him, obviously, because he's injured. It was a season-ending injury. So he's out for the season. I think, no, that brings me to my next point of season-ending injuries. The Browns lost Nick Chubb that season, but they did fine. They made the playoffs. But a team that would have made the playoffs, I think, if he didn't get injured, was Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers didn't get injured, I think they would have had a stunning season. And I know that Rodgers had a good preseason, so just to look at that, it's crazy, but you never know. I mean, I think personally that all the teams are really good. It's just a bunch of teams need improvement, and they'll play a lot better. I know that the Packers, for instance, they need Jordan Love to get a little better, and they need a new defensive coordinator and a few more players on defense that don't get injured all the time, and a new left guard to replace David Bakhtiari for when he's not playing, which is pretty much all the time. No offense, David Bakhtiari, but you're always injured. But I know it's not your fault. It happens. I mean, everybody gets injured. It's just part of life. But I'm gonna be honest here. I feel like that the Jaguars, did they make the playoffs? I don't think they made the playoffs. The only team in the AFC South to make it was the Texans, and their rookie quarterback, CJ Stroud, he is a big potential. And looking at rookie quarterbacks, let's look at how Anthony Richardson was doing. He went, 5-1 playing, and then he got injured? That's insane. For a rookie quarterback to go 5-1 starting, that's actually insane, and he's one of the more quarterbacks to do that, to start 4-1 on a season. And I think Anthony Richardson has some huge, massive potential. It's just, if he could perform better. I'm not saying he doesn't. He performs really good. It's just, the coach needs to stop making him run the ball all the time. Because, yeah, he's a scrambler, but he is not a Lamar Jackson potential scrambler right now. He needs to throw the ball more, get used to that with the scrambling abilities, and he will be like a Patrick Mahomes threat. I mean, Mahomes has those abilities, and he's winning games with no ankles. Like the Super Bowl 57 had 2 injured ankles. But another game, I was really shocked to hear that the Packers made the playoffs. If you look at their record of how bad they were doing, they turned their season around fast since that Chiefs game. I'm a little mad about that Chiefs game. I wish we would have won, because I actually went to that game. But if anything, the Packers deserve a lot more respect than what they get, because they do not get much respect, and everybody thinks they're a horrible team. But if you look at, yes, they were not a good team to start the season, but that doesn't mean go throw out this stuff, because you never know what's going to happen. You really don't. Everything can happen. Nothing is impossible. And the Bears almost made a comeback for the playoffs this season, which would have been cool to see. I feel like if we saw the Bears making a nice comeback. And I was watching this video on YouTube. It was about what the Bears are doing in the draft. They're not going to draft Caleb Williams. This guy says that they're going to keep Justin Fields, and they're actually going to get rid. They're actually going to keep their first-round pick, and they're going to get one really good receiver. Because honestly, if anything, the Bears need that right now. The Bears can get another good receiver on their team. If you add another good receiver to your DJ Moore and Darnell Mooney receiving core, you have yourself a really good receiving core. I think the Bears also need another tight end. Cole Kmet can't do anything by himself. Football is a teamwork game. You can't just play. It's not a one-man game. You'll have a good game. Maybe you'll have the best stats on the team in one game, but it is a teamwork game, and you have to work your best through the games, the struggles, you have to deal with losses. It's just a part of the game. And if anything, I think that, all right, comment and chat in the comments what your Super Bowl predictions are. Now, I'm gonna guess this is most years, because this is mine, Ravens and 49ers. It's pretty obvious that these teams are gonna make the Super Bowl. It's really just how they've been performing this season. Brock Purdy has been doing awesome, like outstanding performance levels from, I mean, he did really good last season, but he's topping those levels from last season. And Mr. Irrelevant, man, he did, I don't even know how to say this because this man is just outstanding. He went from the last pick in the draft to being a playoff contender quarterback, and he's actually really good. And I think the Mr. Irrelevants just don't get enough credit. Like, they're really good. And I used to think that they were horrible too, but I'm looking at Brock Purdy in them, and it's just, they play good for their levels of being not even being drafted until the last pick. But I just want to put this out there. If it's Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, like, Lamar's been in the league for longer, he has more, I mean, actually, Brock Purdy's younger, so no, yeah, Lamar Jackson's been in the league a little longer, he knows more, he's been playing longer, and he's been a playoff contender I think he's been a playoff contender every season of his career. Not for sure, I'm pretty sure he is, but we'll find out. I'm guaranteeing that the 49ers are going to lose to the Ravens in the Super Bowl. They're going to lose, this is just a prediction, 35-23. And it's probably wrong. I mean, I think both teams are good. I just think that Brock Purdy and his 49ers are going to play really well the first half, and then they're going to lose, like, they're going to choke in the second half. Do any of you have that prediction? Because it could happen. I'm not saying it won't. I'm not saying it will. But I think, personally, what I've seen about the choking this season, like the games that have been choked, like lost horribly, it's just insane what's happened, man. I mean, you're looking at these teams and they're playing well, and then they're just choking games. I mean, you look at what the Chiefs were doing. They were choking a bunch of games this season. So, okay, I have to agree. You guys have to agree with this, but the Eagles did really... The Chiefs and the Eagles, both first-round buys last season, made it to the Super Bowl, and it was like a really high-scoring game, 38-35, Chiefs won. But I'm looking at this, and it's... Okay, it was a good Super Bowl. It was. But now, both teams have not performed as well as we had the season before. I mean, both teams, we're losing the bad teams over here. But I mean, at least the Chiefs aren't losing to the Cardinals like that. No offense, Eagles, but I had to say that. It just was funny. But, I mean, it was still a good game. I mean, everybody tries their best. I mean, it always happens. There's a team that loses like that. There's a teams that lose to bad teams, and that's just how they play. I mean, like, you could be like the Packers and have the worst defensive head coach in history, and you guys, like, defensive coordinator, you guys might not agree with that. But I know everybody is saying this. It's just, we fire Joe Barry. Yes, and I agree. I do agree. I think the Packers fire Joe Barry, get a new defensive coordinator. They will play way better. And it's not even Jordan Love's fault they're losing games. It's just the defensive coordinator. The defense has allowed so many points this season. They almost choked the game against the worst team in the NFL, the Panthers. Speaking of the Panthers, Bryce Young. Let's look at him before I finish this video off. Bryce Young, first round pick in the draft. And after this pick in the draft, first round pick, Yep. You might be like, you might not agree with me that he's a bad quarterback right now. He's a bad quarterback right now. Most rookies are. Like, most rookies do not start performing well until their second or third season. And this was my prediction, but I think Bryce Young is just one of those Trevor Lawrence quarterbacks. Play bad your first season, then in your second season, you do really well, make the playoffs. Like, you barely make the playoffs, but you still do well, and that's good. But adios, I'm gonna leave it out there. See you guys in the next one.